What's up, Alex? What's up, JD? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, my man? How you feeling today?
What's going on, man? It's Roland calling again from Queens, man. Watching this game, man, just a few quick pointers. Ready? So, what I noticed is McHale, right? In the first half, he gave up 19 to Levine. OG switches on to Levine. Levine scores 12. The guy is not fighting over any screens at all. When they brought in Deuce, guy fights over screens. He's playing with with a like I think JD said, he's aggressive. He's fighting over screens. He's getting up in these guys' faces. The other thing I wanted to point out, man, is sometimes there's a lapse with Tibbs, coming down the stretch of these games. For instance, why was Brunson on that last play where Colby was fouled by Hart? Why wasn't Deuce in the game guarding the inbound defender? But some positives to take away. Brunson's coming back slowly, but I think Cat earned the right to shoot that last shot. I don't know, man. We need our centers back. That's the first thing for sure. We gave up 50 points in the paint tonight, but yeah, maybe I think when we get back our centers, man, play Precious, probably put Josh Hart to the bench, have Mitch in there with the bench too. But it really starts at the top of the key, man, with Mikhail.
So wait, Roland, you wanted Cat to take the last shot in this game with seconds left after just, banging knees with Levine, looking exhausted, just putting the team on his back. It didn't look like he had any more legs under him, man, when he was trying to take some threes. You wanted him to take the last shot over Brunson?
True, true. I think, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely a good point. I think the thing is though, when Jalen Brunson goes in there, we know that he's relying on his, he's getting down there in the post. He's got to shake some guys off. Whereas Cat, when he shoots those threes, man, it's almost like you're feeling like it's gonna go in, like it's automatic. That's why I think based on the rhythm of the game, obviously, JB's a Cat, but Cat had it cooking, man. But I definitely hear where you're coming from, man.
All right. Well, appreciate the call, Roland. Thank you for calling in, man. Stay tapped in, my guy. Stay tapped in. Enjoy the rest of your night. JD, are you giving Carl Anthony Towns the last shot in this game? I mean, we just talked about it earlier. You looked exhausted. Do you really want to put the last shot in the hands of a guy who doesn't look like he had any more legs? Or were you okay with Jalen Brunson taking the final shot of this game?
The thing with when it's tricky when you have like 3 seconds because sometimes to get a one-on-one opportunity, you kind of need that, maybe a few more seconds, especially Cat, because Cat likes to, stare you down and then just go right by you with that quick first step over big man where he drives right and he's at the rim. With 3 seconds, if as soon as he gets the ball, if guys on you, he's on the perimeter. Are you gonna get a great shot? It's tough, So unless you design a play to where maybe from the inbounds he's getting the ball on that first pass in the low block to where he's closer to the basket and he can make a couple moves and get a decent shot from distance. Unless you can do that, it's a little tough to ask a 7 foot big man. But in this game, in terms of we're talking about this game, any other game, it depends how the games go. But Brunson just hit the last two shots before that, and they were both clutch shots. He had the mid-range shot over Patrick Williams, right, where he hit that jump shot, and then he had the drive on Patrick Williams at the rim. He was 2 of 2, so I was totally fine with it. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you want to say adding to the story, 46 points. At that point, I didn't mind. I didn't care. It's already gonna. You're already up against it. Once you foul Kobe White, he hits all three free throws like it's nothing. That's another thing too that people forget. It's like when it's us, we always miss a free throw. It seems like, right? Every time is our turn to hit a clutch free throw. It's like we always go 1 for 2, and then here comes Kobe White. He goes 3 for 3 at the Garden, of course, right? So it doesn't matter at this point. We lost.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with you. Let Jalen Brunson take the final shot. I think Cat. Look, man, dude was banged up by the end of this game. You don't want to overexhaust him and put that much pressure on him at the end of the game. I get that, I get that they're all paid to do whatever this much, but JB legitimately, as you just said, came in, gave you two clutch shots. I'm fine with him doing it. He's done it in the past before. I'm gonna keep rolling with my guy.
What's up, man? This is Al from Harlem. What's
What up,
going on,
Al?
Alex? What's up, JD?
What's going on?
What's going on, man? What'd you think about
I
this
just
game
want to talk
tonight?
about that last defensive possession, man. I'm a big Tibbs supporter, But man, I feel like that last defensive possession was really bad on him. First, why is JB in the game at that point? He shouldn't have been in the game. We should have put in Sims. And then on top of that, what was Jalen Brunson's assignment on that play? If you look at him, he did nothing. He should have flashed to Kobe and stopped him from shooting the three. Instead, he just stood there. Then Josh Hart would have never had to come like try to close out from behind them so hard. JB was an absolute cone on that last play, and he should have helped Josh Hart. He did nothing. We should have put in Sims, who's longer and can impact the shot a lot better than JD. It's a total bonehead move by Tibbs that he's better than that, man. He's got to be better than that. He's got to take that one on the chin and take some responsibility for this loss.
Wait a minute. Who you putting Sims in for? So wait, what's the closing five? Give me the whole closing five.
Take out Brunson. Brunson shouldn't be in the game. He didn't do anything on that play. Bring in Sims for him. He's longer, you got length, and he can impact a shot better than Brunson. And Brunson, look at the play again. Brunson did nothing, man. He absolutely didn't do nothing. That's why Josh Hart closed so hard. He wasn't even guarding the ball. It was Giddey inbounding the ball. So play off of Giddey. He ain't shooting a three. He's not doing nothing. They messed that up, man. Tibbs messed that up. That's my take, man. I appreciate you guys taking my call. I love the show. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate the call, my man. JD, what do you think about that one? Are you putting Jericho Sims in over Jalen Brunson? I don't know if I could get with that, man. I don't know if I could put Jericho Sims over Jalen Brunson in the final closing seconds of a game. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think I get it, because when you have a couple seconds, there are some coaches that say, well, what are the chances that the guy that's inbounding the ball, unless he's the superstar, like what are the chances he's going to get the ball back with, only so many seconds. So I get that some head coaches do put in a 6'8", 6'11", 6'10" guy to try to disrupt the inbound pass as most as you can. So I get that. But the other side that you could say to it is, even if you use Brunson, maybe the technique could be taught better, where Brunson is falling back and he's looking at the action, but he wasn't really affecting where the action happens. The action happened at the top of the key. You could make the argument he could have shifted more over to try to cut that passing lane. But then is Brunson that type of guy to, do that type of defensive technique, because he's not even known as a defender. So I can see the argument of maybe putting in an additional defender on defense. I wouldn't mind that at all, because guess what? If this was the playoffs, this would be a question that we would be asking. It's game 11 or whatever it is, so it's like, whatever. But if this was the playoffs, everything about the way that they ended the game would be very much, analyzed under the microscope.
If anything, I would have gone Deuce McBride. I mean, that's the guy that can fight over screens. That's probably the best perimeter defender. You know what I mean? Like outside of OG, if you're trying to keep somebody on the hip of Kobe White, that's the guy I'm looking at. So I can understand doing that. Like,
and Thibodeau has done that in quarters.
He has.
Like, to end quarters, he's done that. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad take, because you could make the argument. And guess what, Alex? To your point, if Deuce is in the game, guess who he's guarding? He's guarding Kobe White, and Josh Hart's the one guarded the inbound pass.
We just got started with Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, good God, this man was just dominant. For the first couple of games, you're just asking for him just to keep getting the ball, because we saw whether it was Brunson finding his shot or whatever it may be, how the offense was just naturally flowing, and sometimes it would just stall out, even though it's still performing at a high level. The ball would just somehow not get back into Karl-Anthony Towns' hands in these previous games, where you're like, yo, Cat should just have the ball, because no one can stop him offensively. Like knocking down threes, driving, doing all this stuff. And you're like, why are we not finding him? But tonight was that night. Tonight was the night where you're like, okay, keep feeding Cat. Cat's going 18 for 30, man, getting you 46 points, 6 of 12 from downtown, 4 for 8 from the free throw line, 10 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals too. Can't forget that. But man, this guy was just putting on one for 39 minutes. This guy was putting Vooch in a blender. You could not stop him. The pump faking, the drive, everything. When you needed somebody, when you needed a bucket, this you just gave it to Cat. You're right back in the mix, man. Absolutely right back in the mix in this entire game.
Keep going, Alex. Keep going.
It sucks because this is the game where everyone's calling him the big bodega, right? Everyone's calling him the big bodega. This game would have been the complete unraveling of the big bodega for sure if you get the win on top of that. And then to grind it to, as you talked about, he get the knee bumped when trying to guard Levine as well. And just watching grimace, you see the torn jersey, everything that represents New York was going to be that tonight. And really, the big bodega, you could have put the big bodega in in Times Square, because that's how this performance was going. If you get the win to seal it, to back it. But my God, man, you just wanted to get the win for him just for tonight, because was one hell of a double-double performance. But Karl-Anthony Towns, man, I'm like, wow, quite the first, 11 games to be a Knick. He has just been on one.
I don't know, Alex, are you impressed?
I am very impressed.
Is he good?
He is good.
Is he talented?
He is very talented.
Is he a beast?
He is beasting right now.
Is he a grown man?
He did give you a shoulder roll not too long ago, but yes,
is he playing like a grown man. Is he answering some allegations?
That he is.
Did they take him to Dykeman? They probably did, because man, this guy has, I mean, to get an opportunity to watch him every day now, and listen, he's having, in many respects, a career year to start. He's never had this start in terms of, in NBA history, a player starting at a franchise for the first 10 games going into tonight. He's the only player to average the numbers that he was averaging, 24, 12, shooting the percentages he was shooting from three, from the free throw line. Like, overall, and listen, to do this on the second of a back-to-back, right, after you had a battle with Embiid, had a battle with Andre Drummond, some, physical guys coming in on a back-to-back, and, now you're facing Vucevic, right? So he's challenged there physically, and you saw some of the fatigue with the Knicks, but he was one of the players that kept them within the ball game. Like, Cat was a big reason why you were even within the game, why this game didn't even go into 30 and 40 points. Mm-hmm. And like I was mentioning, it's so tough to, have to celebrate, because at the end of the day, we lost. But man, if you're talking about a guy that is elevating his game, and what's funny, it's crazy to me, because with like some of the criticism that he's faced before he came here, some of the questions that we talked about that he needed to answer, some of the challenges. I mean, this is a guy that in his first home preseason game at the Garden, he talked about the whole post game, how, this is a different animal playing here. And that's the preseason, how nervous he was to make his home debut at the Garden in the preseason. So I'm thinking, okay, Cat, all right, let's get it together now. It's preseason. I don't want to hear you this nervous. And you see it around sports. We talk about this team needing time to gel and get chemistry. How about individual players that go into a franchise? Paul George has had a very slow start. He had a good game last offensively, but he's gotten to a slow start as a Philadelphia 76er, right? Like, so we see it around sports where a player that enters a pressure market, a big market, sometimes needs some time to gain the chemistry with his teammates, to perform in that market. And I mean, we talking about other questions around the team, and Cat's not one of them in terms of a player coming into the franchise and getting it together. Like, offensively, this guy has responded, and it doesn't seem like, if anything, it seems like he's getting comfortable in this environment. If anything, it seems like, he already knows what his role is going to be. It seems like some of the other guys need to catch up in order for all this to gel together. And the other takeaway I had from this is, man, when Brunson gets some of those nuances, like, he's almost getting there, but when he gets there, yo, they're going to be scary as a duo. They're definitely going to be scary, and even for him defensively, I can't wait till Precious gets back. I can't wait till Mitch gets back, because I think that will get some pressure off of him, and I still think he'll be at the 5. I still think he'll be a 5, but at least for those minutes off the bench and some sprinkling minutes with him at the 4, he has a lot of pressure right now defensively, especially because some other players are not stepping up defensively, not stepping up their A game, right? So it's putting more pressure on Cat, and Cat already is not a great defender. Some of those perimeter players are not stepping up. But other than that, historic performance